Senator Dawson.
Merci, Monsieur le Président. When I arrived here 15 years ago, David told me, Dennis, if you're patient, one day you'll make it to the front row. By the time I made it, which is today, my front row is in the second position. But I was patient, David, but I'm here. I did get along. I plead guilty to all my colleagues in my progressive caucus that we always got along, even though we didn't always agree. But when I was asked to volunteer to be so I said I'll consult my colleagues if they have anything nice to say about David. Well, as you can see, that's a resume of what happened. So I'm not going to read the emails they sent me, Mr. Speaker, because you're going to call me in line. Then I consulted 50, and the list of 50 other Liberals that sat with you, and to show that your partisanship did rub them the wrong way, none of them had a very nice thing to say about you. But my leader yesterday told me to have a little bit of humor, and when he told the two new senators, have some humor when you're here. I'm trying to have it, David. But so after having lost with my caucus and with previous, I asked Siri, Google, and Alexa, what about the Tkachuk? Still not a good source, David. So they had things about Liberals being run over and things like that. So I had to go back to my own experience with you, and also as dean, which I hope maybe one day I'll be, because I've been here a long time, and that somebody's going to have something nice to say about me. But in my case, the speeches will probably be shorter. I must say we did a lot of work together. I'm a little bit like those that sat with David. When I arrived here, I started sitting with David on the Transport Committee. We shared the chairmanship of that committee over the years. We didn't always get along, but we did some marvelous work on studies. We did a serious study on containers, where we traveled to the north of Canada. We went to Halifax, and we did really present something that was a very progressive report. We did another one later on airports and the management and the governance of airports, which I was quite proud of having worked with David on. We, again, not always agreeing, but always being sure that this is our commitment. Obviously, some people will say sometimes that he goes too far. The comments have been made. We had the experience on C-69 and on the shipping bill on the coast of BC, where you didn't enlarge your fan club. C-48. You didn't enlarge your fan club. But on C-49, where you chaired when we had the bill on transport, and was one of the first bills that was sent back to the House repeatedly to get amendments passed, and you did it successfully with the cooperation of senators on both sides. But he always did it, yes, with a little bit of sometimes excess, but he always did it with commitment to his province. 69 is a very good example, and 48. He really was talking on behalf of his province. I didn't agree with him, and I think he was wrong, but he was doing it, and I think I encourage everybody who's here to have that same commitment. It might not make you friends. Actually, it might make you a few enemies. But at least you'll be respected. And I hope, David, that when I leave here, I will have the same respect for what I did as I have a respect for what you did while you were here. And somebody said, Dennis, he's like Frank Sinatra. He did it his way. You know? I'm not recommending the same way to everybody else. This place would obviously be very different if everybody was a David Tkachuk. But there is one David Tkachuk, and he's leaving. So, David, I want to thank you for having been a cooperative senator with me, and I think consider you a friend.